Greetings, adventurers. This is David, and you are watching Abnormal Voyages. Today we're going to be checking out a really unique and interesting museum located here in Houston, Texas. We are at the National Museum of Funeral History. Let's get in there and check it out. So we are now in the museum, and there is already tons of amazing things. But we start out, as soon as you come in, we have a beautiful line of hearse vehicles throughout the ages. Now, as you know, these are of course used to transport the coffin and corpse to the graveyards. And it is spanning all the way back to using wagons. This one is from the late 1800s. This one here is actually a children's hearse from 1900. Look how ornately this is carved and put together. So being a children's hearse, I'm assuming that definitely means this was used for children who unfortunately passed before they were able to grow up. Oh yeah, we even have a little coffin in there. And then over here we have one from 1832. You see where the curtains were drawn over the hearse. Now here we actually have the inside of some of these hearses. As you can see, coffin was able to go in through here, be nice and secured, while the driver sat up there as they began their final voyage. I really like the silk, nice plush feel of this. If you gotta go, you might as well go in style, right? This is a massive casket that was planned for 3 occupants. A couple lost their child, and then in their grief had planned to do a murder-suicide so that all 3 could be together forever. However, the parents ended up changing their mind and not going through with it. So this is actually the celebrity and icon section, going over famous people throughout history and movies and film and other ventures. Different items from their memorial services and funerals. A lot of very interesting stuff here. Something that I thought was particularly cool is this ticket, wristband, and program from Michael Jackson's memorial service that they held for the public. Here is an actual memorial folder from Marilyn Monroe's funeral service. So when this movie came out, and during the height of its popularity, it apparently inspired a company to create an actual glass coffin. These never really took off and became a thing, so this is one of the only ones of its kind. This is fascinating. These are actually portraits that are created using the ashes of the deceased. They look amazing. Kind of a way to always have them around and have a nice memorial for them. Who says being dead doesn't mean you can't do it in style? This is a customized coffin here by a gentleman who spent his life customizing cars. So when he died, his partner made this lovely coffin for him. This is a widow's coach that was traditionally the lead carriage right behind the hearse. Over here we also have some 19th century mourning outfits. And then different pieces of funerals of the times. This is a replica room of what an early embalming station might look like. This is around the 1920s, and funnily enough, it would stay pretty similar until around the 1960s. Of course, no funeral display would be complete without mentioning the ancient Egyptians. Here's a centerpiece of a section about the deaths of popes and the funeral process. Interestingly, when a pope dies, they are actually entombed in 3 coffins. They have a cypress wood here that is then put into a metal one that is soldered shut, and then a Douglas fir for the outside, which is also where they put their plaques. This is a Japanese funeral hearse, very ornate, very gorgeous. Look at all that detail. The approximate cost of this is $140,000. Impressive. One of my favorite displays so far. These are fantasy coffins. Every single one of these is an actual coffin. Wow. I love the little crabs. And that's what's important. A life well lived. Just a quick overview where you see they have way more hearses. More of the classic style ones from way back. And then this fancy fellow right here. A pretty quirky story. This is a Packard funeral bus, the last remaining one of its kind. And you could actually pack the deceased and all the mourners in here, I believe it fit up to about 20 people, comfortably in here and get everybody out to the funeral together. Here's a very interesting timeline of urns through the ages. And that is the National Museum of Funeral History. And that concludes our tour. I hope you enjoyed this peek into the National Museum of Funeral History, a place well worth checking out. Thanks for tagging along. This is David, signing off for Abnormal Voyages, and as they say at the museum, remember, every day above ground is a good day.